Thrilled to be in Atlanta where there is some heat, because I'm coming from San Francisco in June, which is freezing. If you haven't been, it's our winter. But today I'm here, I'm looking for my clicker here. So first of all, again, thank you for having me. I wanted to quickly start, hands up if you're a Salesforce customer, or if your organization is a Salesforce customer. Okay, I love it. For everyone else, I'll see you after class, talk to you about that there. But I always like to start any presentation or anytime I'm with customers by saying thank you, because really at the end of the day, you are the hero in this story. It is not Salesforce. You are the reason that we have been a successful organization and continue to grow. So a huge thank you. For everyone that is not a customer, thank you for being here today to hear a little bit about how we consider ourselves to be customer obsessed. And thank you to IIeX for having us here. It's a great opportunity to share a little bit about our story. So I have a little stat here. Insights-driven businesses will take $1.2 trillion a year by 2020. It's from Forrester Research. And it's suggesting the fact that insights drive value. And I know everyone in the room here is touching insights to some degree. Whether you are a creator of insights, a consumer of insights, you certainly understand the value that they bring to an organization. But what is really the secret sauce or critical aspect about them is making sure that leadership within your organization really understands the value. Because if you can get a top-down assessment and understanding of the value of insights that permeate across the organization, that's where you're really going to drive change and really unlock and empower the true value of insights. And in fact, Salesforce itself was built off of the back of customer feedback. So I don't know if many of you remember what CRM looked like in the 90s, but back then, everything was built with on-premise systems, very complex, difficult to integrate, and we had Parker Harris and Mark Benioff, our co-founders, they thought of a different way. What about moving CRM and Salesforce automation to the cloud? And this was based on feedback they were hearing that customers were frustrated with the way it was working at the time. So we've always been listening to our customers. And in fact, Parker Harris was recently asked by an analyst, how are you going to grow and scale to be a $50 billion organization? And without a beat, he simply said, the same way we always have grown is by listening to our customers and building products and solutions that not only meet but exceed their needs. So, and I can attest personally, I was in Minneapolis last week testing a keynote for our Connection Summit that's happening in Chicago right now. And Mark Benioff himself flew into Minneapolis to come in to get a sneak preview of what that testing looked like. So it's nice to be able to have leadership at the top who really believes in the value of customer insights. Now, listening at Salesforce and customer feedback has not always been the same over the entire duration of the organization. So if we cut back to 2004, we were gathering customer feedback, but it was very siloed. It wasn't scalable. We had a lot of customer-facing folks, our customer success managers, our account executives. They were hearing feedback and they were putting it into tickets. They were putting it into account records, but really nothing was permeating out of that. There was no strategy behind how we collect or action on those insights. So there really was an opportunity for us to evolve that narrative and cut to 2018, where we have a very different listening engine. So I am part of our customer and market insights group at Salesforce. It was built about 5 years ago to be the North Star or the true unfiltered voice of the customer across the organization. And as part of that team, we work with various push and pull mechanisms to really bring the voice across product marketing, across distribution, across corporate marketing, and of course, across product insights and strategy. So everything from our competitive benchmarking to our product and brand awareness, product innovation, go-to-market, we touch on quantitative, we touch on qualitative, and we focus on live listening engines. Now, I think that numbers often speak pretty loud. So I'm going to share some numbers with you, but I think they don't have as much meaning unless I tell you the story behind the numbers. So the number is 63,293, 98%, and 3 million. Our customer obsession is powered by numbers, and what that actually means is that 63,000 represents the total number of customers and future customers we have in our engaged online community. The IIeX is a co-collaboration community that allows our customers to provide feedback on what we should be developing next, how we innovate what we have, and where we should be thinking 5-10 years down the road. And that 98%, that is our return on insights. So I can stand here very proudly in saying that 98% of the insights we have given to the organization have taken action in some shape or form. And that is something, as I said, we're very proud of, and we do monitor how our insights are permeating across the organization. And 3 million, this represents the total number of retired points in our idea exchange. So every time there's an idea that evolves into a product innovation, that is considered a retired point. So you can see that we have a legacy of customer-driven innovation. Now, you may be wondering how we went from 2004 to 2018, so let me give you a little perspective of how we made that shift. And success for me is that you may walk away having a good sense of how we've done it, but you may be able to take some of these ideas back to your organization and empower it to take it on into what makes sense for you. So how did we transform? Ensuring organizational neutrality. So I often meet with customers on a regular basis, and I always present myself as the Switzerland of Salesforce. So I have no point of view other than just hearing the unfiltered point of view and candid feedback from our customers. And it's very important if we are informing product marketing strategy or product insight strategy that we are working collaboratively with our partners, but I don't want to impart any of their bias into the research that we're doing, because clean insights are critical in order for us to drive forward. And whenever there's any question what we should do in the organization, we always pivot to the customer. That is our North Star. Develop channels for continuous feedback. So I mentioned earlier that we have some push and pull factors. So we do surveys, we do focus groups, we do live listening events. Those are many push factors that we do. But we also have our pull factor, which is that idea exchange I talked about that allows us to gather insights at any point in time, so that if we have a meeting and Mark says, I want to know X, Y, and Z, can you pull up what you have? I've got my ongoing idea exchange, I've got my point in time research that I've done, and I can collaborate to really create a picture on a narrative that I can share back with the organization. A single source of truth. I think this is really interesting because I've worked with a lot of organizations in my past in the agency world, where there is a dedicated insights group and they're the only ones empowered to do research or to gather customer feedback. That's not the case at Salesforce. We have so many customer-facing individuals in the organization, and we empower them to gather those insights, gather that feedback, because we want to make sure that we're being as customer-centric as possible. However, what we actually do is we have them feed that back into the customer and market insights group so that we can take a really objective view of the insights or the feedback that's been gathered and create that single source of truth that we can share back with the organization and really let it permeate, as I mentioned before. And this can come across from our customer advisory boards, which are often led by our product leaders, or can come across from some of the user groups that our own customers have set up. But it's an opportunity for us to gather insights from a number of different people and in a number of different ways. Operationalizing insights. This is so critical. Every single project we have in our organization has a leader, both on the customer and market insights side, as well as an executive sponsor. And it's important that we have these two working hand in hand so that we can continue to check off the steps throughout the process. But at the end, that it's not just a handoff of here is a report or here are your headlines, that we on the market insight side are really collaborating to ensure we see those insights lead to action. I talked about our return on insights and that 98%, and we are held accountable for that to really ensure that, that it is moving forward and that insights are driving action in the organization. And the other thing that's really nice about this is we have something called Chatter. Some of you might be familiar with it if you are a Salesforce customer. It's akin to a Facebook, but within the Salesforce platform, and we use it internally that allows us to interact with all of our colleagues around the world. And within Chatter, we have something called Research Central, where we post all of our insights and all of our headlines, if you will. And it's a great opportunity for us to really share out what we're hearing, even though it's been operationalized from beginning to end with one particular exec sponsor. It's an opportunity for everyone to partake. And that transparency of posting this ensures that action follows from that, because there's a lot of visibility when there's insights that are being posted. And in fact, last week, I posted some insights for the manufacturing sector that I had done at our Toronto World Tour at the beginning of May. And I somewhat misguided thought, you know what, no one's really gonna pay attention to this outside of the manufacturing team that asked for some of this research. And I put it out there and it blew up into what I call a chatter storm. I mean, I had colleagues from Sydney, colleagues from Paris, tap in going, oh my goodness, can you give me some more insights into what they're saying, how I can translate this into my retail level industry insights or into my telco industry insights. So it's really an opportunity for us to share the word out, but also that transparency drives action, which goes back to the idea of operationalizing insights. Humanizing your customers. If there's anything I've said, ad nauseum over the past 10 years, it's about humanizing insights. So we have a ton of data. I mean, we are Salesforce. We are constantly in the flux of having data through our platforms and our services, but nothing beats the stories that our customers tell us directly. So that is why live listening is such a huge component of what we do within the organization. So absolutely, we do embrace online methodologies when it comes to listening to customers. But for us, live listening, especially with our executives, gives us a chance to go out, really capture the sentiment, the stories of our customers, and share them back with our leaders. And often, if we can bring our senior leaders in the room with the customers, that's where the action is just catapults and moves forward. In fact, last year, we implemented a new program called our Product Roadmap Tour, which allows us to hit 5 cities in 5 days, putting out the idea of testing some new thinking and product insights, but we have all of our product leadership there, and we have 25 to 30 of our customers in the room giving us feedback on both our vision, specifics, and things that we should be thinking about as we move forward. And having our chief product officer and our president in the room, listening directly to those customers, has translated into so many decisions and so many actions that it's something to celebrate within the entire organization. Intelligence and automation is so critical, and I know it's been a topic throughout the past 2.5 days here. We are a team of 17. We are serving a organization of 30,000 people. So as you can imagine, we don't have the luxury of not having automation. So certainly one of the benefits is that we're able to use some of our own technology, our Einstein Discovery, which is an AI-enabled tool that allows us to make better use of the data that we have quantitatively. But also from an automation point of view, we are automating things like our recruiting for our in-person and live listening events, as well as some of the reporting that we share out with the organization. Because wherever we can look for efficiencies, that's what we're trying to do so that we can focus on driving really smart insights throughout the organization. And lastly, inspiring a mission and a movement. So Salesforce is a big advocate for really shining the spotlight on our customers, but we're also advocates for shining spotlight on our own employees internally. So I talked a little bit about that idea exchange and actioning on those ideas from our customers and the co-creation. Every time we retire those ideas, as I talked about, meaning that they moved into to innovation or product, that product manager actually gets a certain number of points. And you can see this 50,000 club inductees slide here. This represents some product managers who retired 50,000 points or above, and they are given rewards at a rewards ceremony within the organization. We certainly provide everything from little badges within our chatter instances to talk about successes that people have had with insights that they've shared across the organization or that they gathered from customers. But as well, we are not afraid to blast out successes that we've seen through social media, through a number of different online sources. So it's really about empowering the fact that insights do drive value and making sure that we're getting that voice out there. And what does all of this ladder up to is a big question I get. You know, insights, great, you take action, great, what does that mean? And yes, it means the growth of our organization and we continue to succeed, but really what I like to share is that we are playing into what is the Salesforce Trailblazer economy. So the World Economic Forum has coined the term the Salesforce economy, which is something that we're very proud to be part of. It is where we are helping individuals, what I call citizen admins or citizen developers, individuals who didn't go to school for development or for coding. Really, we're giving them the tools to learn our platform, our systems, through our Trailhead gamified online learning program, giving them the tools so that they can build careers that can help make other companies successful. So as you can see, it permeates across the economy. So everything we do in Insights helps drive product marketing, which helps get new product out there, which helps drive the Salesforce economy. So thank you very much. I hope some of this was influential and insightful for you, and I welcome any questions.
Questions? We've got somewhere right here. Oh, I'm sorry, right over here.
Hi. I'm really interested in how you encourage participation in this. So you mentioned the 50K club. I think there are so many other businesses out there who have their people out there in the marketplace, and they're struggling to get engagement from their employees to share that internally. Can you give us a little bit more detail of your secret sauce of how you're encouraging Salesforce people to come back and share it internally with the rest of the business?
Absolutely. Well, part of it is, I think it's part of the culture. It's ingrained within our organization that we are already celebrating those successes. But certainly, the reality is anyone that's customer facing is in that role because they want to engage with customers. And our customers, and I don't know if it's exclusive to Salesforce or not, but they are big advocates for wanting to share back with us. In fact, a lot of the live listening that we do, customers are, we say, hey, we're going to be in this city this day. We would love to have 30 people in the room. And boom, we have 30 people who show up and are just ready to share back. So I think there's part of that, it's easy for customers to want to share. So it's just really easy for everyone to gather it. And it's more about them providing the insights back to us and us working in partnership with them to make sure that we see the insights driving action. So it's a collaboration, and certainly having our team part of that, I think helps remind them and move them along the path.
Great. And we've got time for one last question.
Cool. Hi, David. So you've got a team of 17 in CMI. Are there also dedicated product researchers, UX researchers, and how do you kind of play nicely together with that extended group?
It's a great question. We do have, so within our broader market strategy group, we've got customer market insights, but we also have our UX group, our analyst competitive groups and all of that. And we all have our own swimming pools, as I mentioned, but we do swim together, particularly when we're creating cohesive narratives. Let's say it's for a large product innovation or a corporate messaging opportunity. So luckily, because we're all in one big team, we're very aware of what everyone else is doing so that we can find opportunities to partner together.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.